We are live. We are live. We are live. I'm Dr. Frita, and this is Medical Monday, the first Medical Monday of 2025. Happy New Year. And with the new year comes new health topics. So we'll cover all of the hot health topics in the headlines. Let's start off with the New Year's resolutions. Are you into them? Well, we'll start off with my favorite game, myth versus fact, when it comes to New Year's resolutions. And then we'll talk about alcohol. Oh my gosh, are we blaming everything on the alcohol? Maybe, because Rihanna, y'all know Rihanna, shared that she has been sober for an entire year. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about dry January. And I'll share where I was on a national news show talking about dry January, the benefits, which are many, and some of the risks. So make sure you check that out. And then let's talk about the U.S. Surgeon General weighing in. Now, when he weighs in, it's pretty heavy. The U.S. Surgeon General has released an advisory that alcohol can be linked to cancer, and he wants there to be warning labels, just like we have warning labels on cigarettes. What do you think about that? Is this going to make you stop drinking alcohol? We'll talk about it. We'll talk about the pros and the cons. And then let's talk about super viruses. Yes, I'd rather be talking about Superman and Superwoman, but we have super viruses that are out of control, including the respiratory viruses like the flu, RSV, COVID. But then we have some stomach bugs that are breaking records, and not in a good way. Norovirus. Let's get into it. Let's not get into it. Let's talk about how not to get into it, actually. And then we have a few more things. If we get a chance, we'll hit on Diddy. Yes, Diddy is still in the headlines. He had quite the emotional Christmas holiday while incarcerated, I understand. So we'll talk about some of the mental health consequences of being isolated and incarcerated during the holidays and how he got through it. Let me know if you want to know. It doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you. Lastly, let's talk about obesity, living with obesity. Would you believe that the numbers are finally going down? Since 2013, we are now at a lower rate of obesity than we were before. Why do you think that is? You tell me. I'll tell you. You tell me. Meanwhile, get your questions together, and we'll touch on just a few questions in our live Q&A. And if you really want to ask a lot of questions, come join the membership community. Meanwhile, click that like button as you come into this room. I'm Dr. Frita. We're about to have a wonderful evidence-based medical discussion on Medical Monday. Welcome, welcome. We are live. I'm Dr. Frita. This is Medical Monday, where we talk about all the hot health topics in the headlines. I don't talk about them alone. Please join me, my co-host and practice manager, Shador. Hey. Happy New Year, Shador.
Happy New Year.
New year, new you. New year, new you. Listen, I always say new year, same old me. In fact, I just put a video. I recorded a video on yesterday. It's in the members only. So if you're a part of the Dr. Frita membership community, after this live, please check that out. I talk about New Year's resolutions or not. I talk about new year, new you versus new year, same old you, and what to do. Listen, we get into it. But if you're a member, you have access to that members only video. How was your New Year celebration, Shador?
Tiring. You know, I had a birthday coming in, so other than that went well. He stayed up.
Good. I was just pretty laid back over here. Laid back. I did cooking, but I decided to do cooking at the last minute. So of course I had my collard greens, and I did mine with smoked turkey necks. I did black-eyed peas with a little bit of a flair. No meat in those at all. I did a completely vegan recipe because my mother doesn't eat meat. And so everybody was mad. They're like, you don't have any ham hocks or any turkey in here? I'm like, no, my mama got to eat something. She was already rolling her eyes at the turkey and the collard greens because she doesn't eat that. And so we just had ourselves some fun. Just the family. We had a lot of laughs. Listen, I want y'all to go ahead and we're going to jump in and get started. Put a 1 in the chat if you eat black-eyed peas and or collard greens as part of your New Year's tradition. Put a 1 in the chat if you do black-eyed peas and or greens as part of your New Year's traditions. Meanwhile, I want y'all to go ahead and put where you're watching us from, where you're joining us from. Is it from here in the city? Is it from Atlanta? Is it from California? Is it from LA? Is it from out of the country? Where are you joining us from? And Shador, who was the first person in the chat today?
Yes, absolutely. The first person today was Miss Sherry.
Hi, Miss Sherry.
She says, good morning from Brooklyn, New York.
Hey, Brooklyn. Love it. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Oh, is it snowing there? It might be snowing in Atlanta this
Oh
week.
no, I hope not.
I know. All right. All right. All
Shout
right.
out to a new member, Dr. Frita Crystal.
Hey, oh, welcome to the membership, Crystal. Please go ahead, click that link. You'll see what I'm talking about the new year, same old me. But then I have some other videos that only members are privy to, including some of the live Q&A sessions that we have here on the Medical Mondays. We hit on a few questions at the end. But when you are a member, such as you are now, we have an entire session where you can ask me a question, do a follow-up. We can even drop a link for you can come on and we can talk face-to-face where I give you more in-depth information. And for those of you who are new to our channel, Dr. Frita, I am an MD. I'm a medical doctor. I've been board certified in nephrology. So I'm a board certified kidney doctor in high blood pressure. I've also been board certified in internal medicine, pediatrics, and obesity medicine. And so I like to talk about a lot. And if you are a member, you have more access to getting my questions right there live, medical questions. I give you evidence-based information. All right. Do we have any ones in the chat? Is anyone doing these old New Year's traditions like me with the black-eyed peas for luck, collard greens for money?
Of course, and me as well. I put my one.
All right.
I remember Kim.
Hi, Kim. Another member.
She absolutely plays the one. She does her collard greens and nor black-eyed peas or her greens. Ilona.
All right. We've got the traditions going.
Miss Linda does her greens and beans or peas.
Wonderful.
And Miss Ella.
And it's interesting because this is historically an African tradition, African-American tradition. But I was talking to my daughter and she was sharing with me how some of her friends who are not Black were sitting up there eating black-eyed peas and collard greens. It's just so interesting how the culture just spreads and spreads and spreads. It's very fun. But if y'all are like me, you also do this. If you didn't get a chance to have black-eyed peas, or if you didn't get a chance to do greens, then you very quickly say, that's just a tradition. I'm leaning on the Lord. And then you put it aside. Put a 2 in the chat if you're good for that. If you mess up or you mix up your tradition or something that doesn't go right, if you split the pole or if you do any of those things for fun, but as soon as you don't hold on to the tradition or superstition, you say, I don't believe in that. I'm leaning on the Lord. I'm good for that. All right. So now let's get into my favorite game. My favorite game, myth versus fact. Myth versus fact. All right. New Year's resolutions. New Year's resolutions. I want you to put a 3 in the chat if you have a New Year's resolution and share what it is. Put a 3 in the chat if you have a New Year's resolution and share what it is if you feel so inclined. Okay. But meanwhile, myth versus fact. For this first one, I want you to put an M1 if it's a myth, F1 if it's a fact. All right, Shador, I'm going to have you read this first statement on myth versus fact for me, please.
Absolutely. Setting more resolutions increases your chances of overall success.
All right. Setting more New Year's resolutions increases your chance of success. Put an M1 if that's a myth. Put an F1 if that sounds like it's a fact, like it's a numbers game. The more resolutions I put out there, the more successful I will be. Myth versus fact. Setting more New Year's resolutions increases your chance of success. All right, put your M1 in if it's a myth, F1 in if you agree with it and if it's a fact. All right, and for the second part of my favorite little game, myth versus fact, let's put up statement number 2. And that is the most popular New Year's resolution for 2025 is saving more money. Is that a myth or a fact? The most popular New Year's resolution for 2025 is saving more money, more problems. M2, put an M2 if you think that this one is a myth, and put an F2 if you think it's a fact, that you think saving money is the most popular one coming up for 2025. All right, pencils down, pencils down. All right, Shador, do we have any takers for the first myth versus fact statement?
Yes, overwhelmingly. Yes, we do.
Okay. So who believes that the more resolutions you set, the better your chance for success? Who said that's a fact?
Fact. Our fact takers are Planet Life.
Hi, Planet Life. Welcome back. So you think it's a fact. It's a numbers game, okay?
And Coweta.
Hi, Coweta. Like from Coweta County?
They both think it's a fact.
She said a fact, okay? She thinks if she sets a bunch of them, that's more success, okay?
Right. And then our myth takers.
All right, who says it's a myth? Boom, boom.
Alexander.
Alexander, you think if you put more and more and more and more resolutions, then you're not setting yourself up for success, okay? Alexander.
Chris.
Okay, so another naysayer, okay? You don't think the more the better, okay? Who else?
VE.
Hey, VE. Okay, you said you set all those resolutions. That's not necessarily going to make you more successful.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And Miss Linda.
All right. All of y'all are little naysayers. My goodness. My goodness. In 2025. All right. So myth versus fact. The more resolutions you set, the more successful you will be. That is a myth. It's actually a myth. Studies show us that the more resolutions you set, you tend to spread yourself too thin and it's harder to stay focused. So if you sit up here and you have 10 lists and you put them all together and you're determined to make all of these changes, then it kind of dilutes it out and you're less likely to be successful. But if you set a smaller amount of goals and really a shorter term to get to them, then you are more likely for success. Now, this is the likelihood we're talking about. I'm not saying that some of you aren't so organized and so type A that you can't get a whole bunch of resolutions done, but for the masses, studies show us that the more resolutions you set, the less likely you are to achieve them. And so it is recommended that you set a small amount of realistic goals and you are realistic with yourself and patient with yourself. And you're specific. For example, don't just put on there, I want to get fit in 2025. That's general. Put on there, I want to exercise at least 3 days a week for 30 minutes. Or put on there, I want to start walking for 1 mile for at least 3 days a week. Or put on there, I'm going to do weight training for at least 2 days a week. Put specific goals. And here's the other important thing. If life happens and you find that you maybe have put something too much, say you said, I'm going to run 3 miles 5 days a week, and you really just aren't doing it, please don't give up on it. People are more successful when they're willing to adjust their goals. So if you say, 3 miles 5 days a week, I would like to get to that. It hasn't happened yet. Let me make it 3 days a week where I'll run 3 miles. So don't be afraid to adjust your goals. That doesn't make you a failure. In fact, that will set you up for more success. So yes, you don't want to overwhelm yourself by just changing your entire life, okay? Or doing things that are unrealistic or trying to become a whole new person, but setting smaller goals with time limits and be adjusting them if necessary. That's how you set yourself up for success. The other thing, you definitely want to write things down. You want to write things down. Studies show us that you're 42% more likely to be successful when you write things down. Okay. All right. So let's continue to play my little game, myth versus fact. All right. So for the second myth versus fact question, the most popular New Year's resolution for 2025 is saving more money. For the love of money. All right. Who put myth? Who put fact? What do we have?
All right. So Monisha, hello.
Hi, Monisha.
She says myth.
It's a myth. So you don't think that's the most popular one? Monisha, come back. I want y'all to tell me what you think the most popular one is. Okay.
Makisha says F2.
You think it's a fact. You think money. People about that money. Don't let money change you. Okay.
Miss Janet also thinks about money this year.
Who else said it?
Miss Janet.
Miss Janet. Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. Okay. You think setting money is the most popular one for 2025. Okay.
Sheree. Hi, Sheree.
Hey, Sheree. Myth. You don't think it's money. What do you think it is, Sheree? You think maybe it's exercise and getting healthier? Do people care more about health or wealth? All right. Drum roll. Myth versus fact. The most popular New Year's resolution for 2025 is saving more money. Fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. The surveys say that for 2025, most people want to save more money. At least 21% of the people in one particular survey said it is saving more money. And so that one actually did not shock me, especially when we've been dealing with the economy, when it costs you a life savings to buy some eggs or a pack of chicken wings. A lot of people have been really heavily focused on getting their money right, especially people who want to be new owners or even just renting a place that you would like to rent in. There's been a big economy shift. Okay. And so, yeah, it looks like saving money. But y'all know we're here on the Dr. Frita channel where we want you to live your healthiest, happiest life. And so, of course, I do hope that you have being healthy, getting fit, exercising more, drinking more water. I hope those things are on your list. In fact, Shador, I got a chance to be on Good Day Atlanta this past week, where I was very excited, where I was asked for my medical expertise on healthy, happy tips for the new year. And so I want to play this clip, and then I want people to share if they had a New Year's resolution, as I asked before, and what is your New Year's resolution? And also, if you care to elaborate, what do you find to be your greatest challenge with your New Year's resolution? Meanwhile, let's play a little bit of this clip, and then we'll talk about how to set yourself up for success for the new year.
Welcome back to Good Day Atlanta. For many people, the start of a new year can bring the start of the new health and fitness journey as well. And beginning that new chapter can be exciting, but also overwhelming, especially when you want to set goals that you can keep throughout the year and beyond. This morning, we're joined by Dr. Frita, local physician and international medical expert commentator. And Dr. Frita, there can be a lot of pressure with setting these new goals. And
okay, let's take a break from this. I'm not sure why, but it's doing that fast play again. Shador, is it doing a fast play for you?
It does not sound fast play to me. Let me do something.
It's doing a fast play. At any rate, I tell you what, if you all go to my Instagram at dr.frita, go to my Instagram once you finish this live. I have the full clip of me being on Good Day Atlanta. I was interviewed by Lindsay, and I gave healthy, happy tips for the new year. And I went through and I kind of broke it down on how you can set yourself up to live your healthiest, happiest life, not being super hard on yourself, being realistic, and not expecting some 180-degree change just because the calendar changed. Meanwhile, did anyone share, Shador, if they have any New Year's resolutions or any challenges to having New Year's resolutions?
Yes. So Sheree chimed in. She says weight loss and healthy eating.
Weight loss and healthy eating. That is a big one. And so, yes, Sheree, the most important thing is not to all of a sudden just be super restrictive or beat yourself up and all of those things, but sitting down and doing things in small increments. If you know good and well that you eat a lot of processed foods, or if you had fun with all the red velvet cake and pound cake and cookies, saying, okay, I'm cutting back on these cookies. If you haven't quite exercised as much as you've wanted to exercise, start off. If you're going from 0, maybe you just start off with twice a week. If you're already doing a couple times a week, you want to push that up 3 times a week, 4 times a week. We know that the American Heart Association recommends that most adults exercise for at least 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week. So that's about 30 minutes, 5 days a week. And then drinking water will help for many reasons. But one thing water can do, if you're drinking water, that can help you to be a little bit full, right? So if you drink water, like a glass of water before a meal, then if it's just a snack you want, you drink the water, you may not be craving it as much. And then, starting your day with lemon water. Make sure you check out my PDF, 10 Healthy Habits for a Better You and a Better Life. It's a free download. We'll have it in the link in this description so everyone in the chat can get it. And everybody who's in the replay crew, hello, check this out, and it'll kind of help you towards your goals. So good luck to you for that New Year's resolution. And y'all, please be sure to go ahead and give us a like. Give us a like as you're watching this video, and share. Please share it in your Instagram, share it in your group chat, share it in your WhatsApp, share it. That lets YouTube know we're here and that we're sharing evidence-based information. All right. Anyone else share a New Year's resolution?
Yes. Randy.
Hi, Randy.
Says weight loss and financially responsible.
Woo, weight loss and financial responsibility, which that financial responsibility piece probably goes along with the most common one, saving more money, and then figuring out how money is just flying out of the house. Like, gosh, did I really have to have that Starbucks coffee or the Dunkin' Donuts coffee? Did I have to really click on Instagram and order that outfit that I really don't need and have nowhere to wear it to? Do I have to go out to eat so many times? And if I do go out to eat, do I need to get an appetizer and a main course and a dessert? Figuring out those little places where you could cut back. That is just a challenge. It is. It is. But that's where it goes to writing things down. Because when you put things down in front of you, you'd be amazed sometimes at how much unnecessary money you're spending. All right. So good luck to you on that one. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Anyone else?
No.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. But yeah, in order to see that full clip of me being on that show, The Good Day Atlanta, then make sure again you go to my Instagram at dr.frita. And while you're there, please go ahead and give me a follow. I have different content there than I have on YouTube. Yeah, you'll find a lot of very good short form content on my Instagram. And it's nice, digestible pieces that you'll be able to absorb and share with others. Okay. So, in fact, I just posted that one this morning, the Good Day Atlanta interview. All right. Shall we talk about Rihanna? Y'all, I really do like Rihanna because she will tell people off. She'll clap back. And she's winning, winning, winning. You know, she's a billionaire. She has been, you know, on different performances. She seems to be happy in her relationship. She's a mother of 2. She's got her great businesses going on, including her Fenty Savage. You know, she's having a really great year, and she's just pretty much a rock star. Well, Rihanna shared something that was a shocker to me. And when she did her New Year's countdown, she revealed this. Let's play that clip on Rihanna and what she revealed on New Year's.
4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Y'all, I didn't drink all year. I didn't drink all year.
That's it. So Rihanna shared on New Year's Eve and coming into 2025 that she has not had a drink, no alcohol in an entire year. So I'm really proud of her because to my knowledge, I don't know, I didn't think that she advertised it or anything like that. I guess it was something that was personal to her and a goal that she had for whatever reason. And so a lot of people will have dry January. She had a dry January, February, March, April, all the way through December. So congratulations to her. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what her motivation was for not doing the alcohol, but I can name many, many good motivations for a lot of people, including the U.S. Surgeon General's warning, which we'll get into. But I want you to do this for me. Put a 4 in the chat if you are doing or considering doing either a dry January or a damp January. So when I say dry January, I mean when you have 0 alcohol to drink at all in January. If you're making a conscious effort. Now, if you already don't drink, then you're like Rihanna now, you have a dry year. But if you are making a conscious effort to not drink in all of January, that's a dry January, or a damp January if you're making a conscious effort to cut down. So for example, if you might say, okay, I might drink when I go out for dinner, but I'm not going to have any alcohol at the house. Or if you say, I'm only going to drink, once or twice on the weekends, but no more than that. They call that a damp January. So put a 4 in the chat if you're considering doing a dry January or damp January. And feel free to share your reasoning. Okay. While I'm waiting for you to put that in the chat, I'm going to, we'll watch a clip of where last January, I was on the national news show, News Nation, and I was talking about some of the New Year's resolutions, New Year's challenges. I talked about the polar plunge, where people jump into freezing water, for whatever reason. And I also talked about dry January, because there's some benefits for sure. There's some risks as well. So let's roll just a little piece of that clip, please, Shador, of me on News Nation with Nick Smith talking about dry January.
All right, let me know how this goes.
Let's start with dry January, because we hear people talk about it all the time, and they try to shame friends around them. I'm not drinking in January. I'm doing dry January. Can you talk to us about how this becomes such a widespread practice and encouraging individuals to abstain from alcohol after the holiday season?
Yes. Well, Nick, we know that alcohol is everywhere. If you go to a New Year's Eve party, there's alcohol. Birthday party, there's alcohol. It's everywhere. It's highly accepted in our society. But according to the CDC, alcohol is the #1 cause of preventable. Okay, it sounds fast to me also. Listen, in the chat, put a 5 if it sounds distorted to you. Put a 5 if it sounds distorted to you. Anyone?
Not yet.
Okay, well, maybe it sounds good. Put a 6 if that clip sounded good to you. Maybe it's just on my end.
Oh, there's some fives, a lot of fives jumping in.
A lot of fives, yeah, it's distorted. That's okay. I'll tell you about the clip, and I tell you what, once we finish this live, if you go to the playlist right here on the Dr. Frita YouTube channel, and I want to thank everyone who is a subscriber. We are now up to over oh gosh, well over 800,000 subscribers. I believe we're over 820,000 subscribers here on this YouTube channel. I'm very excited about that. And for those of you who are coming in, for those of you who are new, what we do here on this channel is beyond these YouTube lives, we provide evidence-based videos. I have hundreds of videos at this point. I have videos on kidney disease, high blood pressure, on cancer, cervical cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, on influenza virus, on vaccinations, immunizations, on alcohol, the dark side of alcohol. I have all types of very useful videos with evidence-based information where I share all the medical knowledge that I enjoy gaining. I share it with you in a digestible portion that's easy to understand, easy to share. And so please, if you have not already, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell and become part of the community. We're up to over 820,000 subscribers here on the Dr. Frita YouTube channel, and we're marching steadily toward 1 million. So come on and join us. And again, make sure you click the link in the description to join the membership community where you get some members only videos. We do members only live Q&As. Okay, but in that clip, that was last January. I was on News Nation, national news show, and I talked about dry January and some of the many, many benefits. We know that there is a dark side to alcohol, even though alcohol is everywhere. It's at parties, it's at weddings, it's just everywhere, at dinner. It's really a big social part of our community. And for years, we've talked about, moderate and light alcohol kind of being okay, though the data has really always shown us that there's no safe amount of alcohol, right? Certainly it's dose dependent, meaning the more you drink and the more frequently you drink, the worse it is for you. But even with light and moderate amounts, it can have an effect. It can increase your risk for liver disease, hepatitis, cancer, heart disease, high blood pressure, all of those things. And so a lot of people will do a dry January or a damp January. So there are benefits as far as, health benefits. But here is what I mentioned in that clip, the News Nation clip. So again, if you go to the playlist here on the Dr. Frita YouTube channel, go to playlist and then go to television appearances, and you'll be able to find where I was on News Nation. Or if you just put in the YouTube search bar, Dr. Frita News Nation dry January, it should pop up that way as well. But yeah, but if you scroll through the TV appearances to January last year, you'll see it. But yeah, one of the risks is that for people, one thing, if you say you actually do have an issue, like you have an alcohol overuse disorder, or you just really drink too much, some people may be able to muster up the willpower, stop drinking for a month, but then go right back to binge drinking, and the problem is still there. So in other words, if you do a dry January without really checking yourself and checking with your mental health counselors and your doctor, you may be masking a real alcohol issue and thinking just because you were able to quit, for a short amount of time that, I don't have a problem, when you might. The other part is withdrawal. If you're someone who drinks heavily, and then you, if you're someone who drinks heavily and then you stop all of a sudden, then you could get some alcohol withdrawal symptoms. Okay. You can get high fever, you can get seizures, you can get the shakes, you can get delirium tremens, something like that. And delirium tremens can be actually life-threatening. Okay. That's a major withdrawal syndrome, which usually occurs about 72 hours after you've stopped drinking, if you're someone who's used to drinking a lot. And it can be life-threatening. So you want to make sure you consult with your doctor if you're doing a dry January, and be honest about how much alcohol you drink. So yeah, so check out that clip, and I go over the pros and the cons of dry January. Definitely the benefits are going to outweigh any risks for most people, but still consult with your doctor. Okay. All right. And so now this moves us to another reason why many people may want to have a dry January. Did anyone in the chat say that they're doing a dry January, or put a 4 in the chat?
Yes. So some 4s and
dry or damp January.
Mm-hmm. So Roberta place a 4.
Hi, Roberta. All right. Good luck to you.
Our member, Miss Rosalind.
Hey, member Rosalind. Wonderful.
I don't drink.
Oh, so you don't drink. So you're doing dry January, February, March, April, May, June. Wonderful. Mm-hmm. That's good.
Tisha. Hi, Tisha.
Hi, Tisha.
Tisha says, stop drinking 5+ years ago. Best thing ever.
That is so good. And we're about to talk more, Tisha, about why that's probably the best thing ever. And it has to do with this U.S. Surgeon General's warning. Oh, I'm proud of you. That's really good.
Yep. Purple Onion chimed in and said, I don't drink alcohol, period.
Very good, Purple Onion. That's good. And that really is likely going to add years to your life, because we know that alcohol is the number 1 preventable cause of disease in general. And it's actually the 3rd leading preventable cause of cancer. specifically. Okay, the third leading preventable cause of cancer. So much so that just on this past Friday, the U.S. Surgeon General has released an advisory about alcohol being linked to cancer. And he wants there to be an FDA warning that alcohol consumption can increase your risk for cancer. Let's roll that clip, please.
All right. Let me know how this goes, Dr. Frita.
Now to the breaking news from the Surgeon General on cancer and alcohol. We want to bring back Chief White House Correspondent Mary Bruce with the latest on this, because they are making a connection between alcohol and some very, very regular cancers that most people have experienced somewhere in their life. Mary, good morning again.
Yeah, good morning again, Rebecca. This just in, the Surgeon General this morning is now sounding the alarm about the dangers of alcohol. Warning
All
that
right,
drinking
still
is the
distorted. That's still distorted, but that's okay. Because don't worry about it, everybody, because I have all of it in my head, exactly what is in the Surgeon General report, and I'll share it with you. It sounded normal to you, Shador?
It always sounds normal on my end.
Okay, that's really something. All right, don't worry. So the UN, after you finish this live, I also did a short form content on my Instagram. If you put my Instagram up at dr.frita, if you go over there after you finish this live, give us a follow. And on a couple days ago, I posted a video on what you need to know about the U.S. Surgeon General's warning and alcohol's link to cancer. Okay, so I'll tell you now right here on the YouTube live. Make sure you go ahead and give us a thumbs up, give us a like as you come in, because I'm giving you evidence-based information, and this is hot off the press. Okay, so now when it comes to alcohol, so we know that it's the third leading preventable cause of cancer death. We could take this down, Shador. It's the third leading cause of cancer death. The number one cause of cancer death is tobacco. Okay, the number two is obesity. Okay, so cigarettes are third on the list. Now here's what's interesting. Alcohol is responsible for 100,000 cases of cancer annually in the United States, and alcohol is responsible for 20,000 cancer deaths annually in the United States. Okay, and the other thing about alcohol is that even though that may sound like, when we normally think about alcohol and alcohol-related deaths, we think about car accidents, right? That's one of the big things that we think about. But when it comes to alcohol-related cancer deaths, that 20,000 that it causes annually is actually more than the 13.5 thousand fatalities caused by alcohol-related car accidents. Okay, so in other words, there are more alcohol-related cancer deaths than there are alcohol-related car accidents. I thought that was a pretty startling statistic. The other thing about alcohol is, let's talk about the way that it causes cancer. What it does is that the alcohol is metabolized to a substance that causes a change or mutation in the DNA. And this change causes cells to divide and divide and divide uncontrollably, hence the cancer. So normally the cells in your body will divide, they'll eventually stop dividing, and the cell dies. That's just apoptosis. That's just the cell cycle. That's the way it's supposed to be, a certain control of the cells in your body. But the alcohol will cause a mutation in the DNA, and so you get an uncontrollable dividing of cells. And so instead of them stopping eventually and moving on with the cycle of life, they keep dividing, and they invade other tissues. There are some specific types of cancer that have been associated with alcohol, at least 7. Okay. And so we definitely know that you can have esophageal cancers, and we know, and y'all can put it in the chat if you remember which celebrity and person that Shador and I got a chance to meet, which celebrity passed away with esophageal cancer. So it can increase your risk for that. It can increase your risk for stomach cancer. It can increase your risk for liver cancer. Alcohol can definitely increase your risk for oral cancer. So like throat cancers, for larynx or voice box cancers. So it can increase your risks for all of those types of cancers. And with alcohol, this is, I think, the real kicker in this study. Even light or moderate alcohol can still increase your risk for cancer. And that's something that now overwhelming data is showing us. Here's a question that a lot of people have: red wine. There was one point where it was thought that having red wine would be, increase cardiovascular health, like it was good for the heart. Oh, have a glass of red wine a day, or, 30 milliliters of red wine a day, and it's going to help your heart health. Now that's actually been debunked. We have overwhelming evidence that the risks of drinking alcohol, even moderate red wine, the risks outweigh the benefits. So all of it can possibly increase your risk for cancer. That's very important to know. So when we talk about the CDC recommendations on what a drink is and what's considered to be moderate and not overuse, now people are rethinking those, because even though we consider, if you're a female, having 1 drink a day, no more than 8 drinks in a week, or if you're a male, having 2 drinks a day or less, no more than 15 in a week, that's considered to be moderate or not alcohol overuse. Now they're looking at rethinking it, because even though it's considered to be moderate and light, even the lightest of drinking in some people can increase your risk for cancer. So this is information, I'm not telling you what to do. I just want you to take this information, have an honest talk with yourself, and have a talk with your doctor about realistic strategies. There are many people who are like, well, I'm not going to quit drinking, but maybe I'll just drink on the weekends, or maybe I'll just drink. Different people are making different choices for themselves and what they think makes life happy. But just understand that we do have overwhelming data that drinking alcohol, even in light amounts, can increase your risk for cancer. Here's something that's very important, Shador. For any of you who know someone who has cancer, or who has had a diagnosis of cancer, please don't take this opportunity to be judgmental. Don't start looking at them, taking trips down memory lane, saying, I saw her drinking a margarita. It's her fault she has cancer. Or I saw him drinking some beer. It's his fault. Please don't do that, because we know, and Shador, in our office, there are many patients with cancer who don't drink and who have never had a drink of alcohol, and they still have cancer. And then we have a lot of people who drink like fish and they don't have cancer and probably won't get cancer. Okay. So please don't sit around and put yourself in the judgy wudgy seat. Please don't do that. Just take this information and use it for yourself, and understand that the U.S. Surgeon General has put out an advisory with overwhelming data to support that alcohol can be linked with cancer. All right. Do we have any comments right now, or any kind of little questions before we move on to the next?
No, ma'am.
All right. Well, super viruses. Now, who wants a super virus? I know I don't, but it's the winter season, and we know that we have lots of respiratory viruses like flu or influenza. And we also know that we've got RSV, respiratory syncytial virus. And yes, COVID. COVID is still here. So we have a lot of those viruses that are starting to overwhelming the emergency rooms. And let's see, did anyone put in which celebrity had esophageal cancer and passed away?
No.
Okay. So I have another question. As we talk, right before we play this clip on the super viruses, which 2 celebrities / political / musical / actor, what 2 celebrities recently shared their bouts with the flu? What 2 celebrities, either or both, shared their recent bouts with the flu? While y'all are putting that in the chat, let's go ahead and roll this clip on the super viruses that are here.
All right. I slowed it on my end, so let's see how it goes.
Okay.
Now to ringing in the new year with something no one wants, a nationwide rise in respiratory illnesses. I can jot Hughes here with more on this. Hey, Ike.
Hey, good morning, Gio. A health alert this morning about respiratory illnesses on the rise across the country. Take a look. According to the CDC, cases of the cold, flu, COVID, and RSV are rising. The states in red are seeing high levels of activity, and dozens of states in orange are considered moderate activity. And all of this is happening just as millions are getting together for the holidays. Experts say these cases are expected to continue to rise in the coming weeks. So far, there have been at least 37,000 hospitalizations for the flu and 1,500 deaths. ER visits and hospitalizations are increasing due to RSV as well, particularly in young children. Now, your best defense against all of this, vaccinations.
Okay, that's good.
Vaccines will give you the best protection.
Yeah, it was a little slower, still distorted. So, look, I'm still optimistic. Each time I ask you to play a clip, I almost forget.
We had one good clip. We had one good clip today.
Okay, well, good. All right. So RSV, influenza, all of those, they are on the rise. They're on the rise. Did anyone say which 2 celebrities recently shared they had a bout with the flu?
Miss Rosalind said Mariah Carey.
That's right. Mariah Carey had the flu, and she had to cancel several of her Christmas concerts. And y'all know she was breaking records as far as having like the longest running #1 with All I Want for Christmas. But that flu knocked her down on her money-making season. So yes. Anyone else say the other person?
No. And I'm drawing a blank.
Maybe they don't consider him a celebrity, but our former president, Bill Clinton, he actually got hospitalized with the flu. He had to go to Georgetown University Hospital, which is where I did my med peds residence. And he had the flu. And it's really something because it's recommended that vaccines are given for anyone age 6 months or older, flu vaccines, and they're seasonal. And every year there's a different flu vaccine. Why? Because it mutates. So every year when the flu virus mutates, we get ahead of it, we get the vaccine, and it helps to protect. The people who are at highest risk for the flu are people who are older than 65. And the former president Clinton is definitely over 65. I believe he's 78. Also people who are very young, less than 5 years of age. If you're immunocompromised, like if you have HIV, that's not very well controlled. Like if you have a high viral load and low CD4 count, you're considered at high risk. If you are on chemotherapy, like if you're a cancer patient, you're considered to be at high risk for the flu. Also, if you're a pregnant woman, you're at a high risk. Or if you are a transplant recipient, like a kidney transplant, lung transplant, and you're on medications that push down or suppress your immune system, you're considered to be at high risk as well. And so it is recommended that you get the flu. One question that get asked all the time, every single flu season, can you get the flu from the flu vaccine? And the answer is no. And specifically, I'm talking about the injection, the shot. You cannot get the flu from the flu vaccine. I know some of y'all are listening and y'all are like, I get sick every time they give me the shot. I get sick. No. Now, you may have a reaction to the vaccine just because it is a foreign substance in your body and your immune system is reacting. But the flu virus that's in there is inactivated. It's a dead virus. And so you cannot actually get the flu from the flu vaccine. Okay, I'm not discounting it if your body is just kind of adjusting, you get a little feverish or sick or sore from the vaccine. That will happen. Okay, you might have an immunogenic reaction, an immune reaction, but it's not the flu. You're not getting the flu from the flu shot because it's a dead, inactivated virus. So you cannot get the flu from the flu shot. All right. Let's see. And when it comes to the other viruses, consult with your doctor, like as far as whether or not they recommend you getting the COVID vaccine or the RSV vaccine. And especially if you have a child who has asthma or a child who's a preemie or who's prone to respiratory viruses, talk to your doctor, especially those of you with newborns, okay? Or you pregnant moms, ask your doctor about these vaccines and just collect all of your information and try to protect yourself. But we've got more viruses than just the respiratory viruses. We do. And I'm curious, med heads, I want to see who knows this. All right. Y'all make sure you give us a like as you're in this live. Give us a like and share. But I have a question. I'm about to test y'all knowledge for real, for real. Can you tell me what stomach bug has been very prevalent this year, specifically on cruise ships? What stomach bug? I have a number one answer, and then I have number two and number three answers. But what stomach bug has been in the headlines as is making people sick, is making them vomit, is making them have diarrhea, is making them miserable, and it's been on cruise ships like crazy? Anyone? Any takers?
Yes, Burn. Hello, Burn.
Hello.
Burn says listeria.
Okay, so that's not the one that I'm thinking of, but we have talked about listeria here. Look, that's right, because we talked about listeria in infecting various produce. There being callbacks on listeria, and we know that listeria was one of those tricky ones. That's actually a bacterium, because even if you put food in the refrigerator, like your deli meats, listeria can still hang around, which is kind of scary. You know, refrigerated foods, listeria can hang around. That's not the one I'm thinking of, but listeria definitely is a stomach bug that can get you and get you good. It's been in the headlines, but I'm thinking specifically of one that's been on cruise ships, and it's in the headlines lately. Anyone?
Yes, so Tisha.
Hi, Tisha.
And Priscilla.
Hi, Priscilla.
And Sharon.
Hi, Sharon. What they say?
In. Norovirus.
It's the norovirus. Oh my goodness. The norovirus. It is driving me bananas because it has been number one in 2024 on making people sick as far as a gastrointestinal bug or a stomach bug, specifically on cruise ships. And there are other viruses as well that have been creeping around cruise ships, like E. coli. Y'all know we've talked about that. Y'all remember we had the outbreak in McDonald's and the slivered onions. We've had all kinds of stuff. What do we have? We had carrots, child. And then also salmonella has been one of these bugs. But this norovirus, I'll tell you why the norovirus is so scary. So when it comes to cruise ships, we've had more stomach bugs in 2024 than we've had in a decade. Can you imagine? More. So all of y'all who are excited and you're taking cruises and here we go, we're going on a cruise. Just be careful, because on cruise ships, since there's such close proximity, people are right by each other, eating in the midnight buffet, the morning buffet, and everybody does not wash their hands, honey. That's a news flash. And so when people use the restroom and they don't wash their hands, and they come and they're, having their hand on the spoon and they're dipping their mashed potatoes, and you go behind them and you dip your mashed potatoes because you already washed your hands before you got in the line, but then you sit down and then you take that same hand and you grab yourself a piece of bread, honey, you can have norovirus particles that give you vomiting, diarrhea, and make you very, very sick. And the scary thing about the norovirus, y'all, is that it doesn't take much. It's very virulent, meaning it can make you sick without that much virus. It doesn't take but just a few little particles to make you ill. And there's a real scary part to it also, but I'll share it. Let's see if do we have a clip, or I just have an article on norovirus?
No, just an article.
Okay, so we can put this up and y'all can check out this article if you can see it on the show.
I'm gonna get mine up for you.
I'm gonna tell y'all something that's real scary about norovirus. Okay. So I will say, most people after a while will do okay. But if you're going on a cruise and you're already sick, okay, you're already having some stomach queasiness, vomiting, diarrhea, please reschedule it and don't make the whole boat sick. Don't do that. In just the month of December alone, there have been 5 outbreaks from these stomach bugs. Okay. So it's just going strong. And there've been something like 16 outbreaks in 2024. It's just a lot. But here's something that's scary about the norovirus, beyond it causing you the vomiting, the diarrhea, and all of that. Even if you use a hand sanitizer, like an alcohol-based hand sanitizer, that does not kill the norovirus. Is that scary?
It is.
So you need to wash your hands with soap and water. So anyone who's listening to me, if you're going on a cruise, please wash your hands with soap and water, and encourage others to do as well. And for all of y'all, you cruise line people, please talk to your staff, especially the little nasty ones who don't want to wash their hands. And it'll be great if I may take my time to go ahead and try to run all of the Royal Caribbeans, the Disney cruises, the, whoever on the sea. If I can just take my time to take over, please have hand washing stations, not just the little stations where you have hand sanitizer, but please have soap and water hand washing stations, and have your smiling crew politely encourage people to wash their hands with soap and water, because the alcohol-based hand sanitizer does not kill the norovirus. It kills a bunch of bacteria, but it doesn't kill the norovirus. It also doesn't kill C. diff. Anyone who's ever had C. diff, it doesn't kill that. It doesn't kill cryptosporidium. So that's it. If y'all have any comments on these things or any questions, we'll try to tackle a couple as we wrap up. And we're moving on. Let's see. We're going to move on. Oh, yeah, we're about to move on this thing. But before we move, let's talk about Diddy. We'll see if the clip is rolling on him. This was Diddy's first Christmas in jail. Okay? Everybody's innocent until proven guilty.
All right, let's try it.
Sean Diddy Combs had a challenging Christmas this year, spending his first holiday season away from family. Sources indicate that the 55-year-old rapper experienced a meltdown while incarcerated at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York, where he was taken for observation due to mental instability. The music mogul, arrested in September on charges including racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking, was reportedly hoping to secure bail by now.
Okay, that's good.
Spending the holiday.
Yeah, still a little distorted. Okay, yeah, everyone's innocent until proven guilty. I will say that we know that back in November 2023, Cassie accused him of being physically abusive, sexually abusive, having her to participate in freak-offs, even unwillingly. She talked about drugs. And we did see the tape that was released of him physically assaulting Cassie, beating her, throwing what appeared to be a vase at her. And he came back and admitted that that was him on the tape. So that part, the innocent until proven guilty, he said that was him. That he was in a dark space. So we know about that. Now, he's also been accused of many things, essaying or assaulting men, women, boys, and girls. We don't know what all is true. We'll let it play out in court. He's been accused of drugging people. We'll let it play out in court. He's been accused of having baby oil with GHB or the date drug. We'll let it play out in court. Either way, let's move this as far as keeping with the Medical Monday and the hot health topic in the headline. They're saying that he had a mental breakdown in jail. Now, I will say in prison. Since then, someone from his camp has said that's not true. but it has been reported that it was true that he was having just a very difficult time, depression, melancholy. And they shared that he used some deep breathing techniques and some meditation to get over it. I don't actually know what's true or what's false, but this is what has been reported in the headline as we shared it. I do want to take this time to say that if you're someone who has been dealing with depression, because we do know that specifically during the winter months, a lot of people get depressed. The new year, where everyone's like, new year, new year, new year, new you, we're happy. For a lot of people, when they get to the end of the year and they haven't accomplished the goals that they wanted to accomplish, it can be depressing. They'll say, here I am, another year. I still am not financially stable. I still don't have the career that I want. I'm still not married. I still don't have a baby. I still don't have XYZ acquisition. So a lot of times it's depressing for people. So just make sure that if you're feeling depression, and I don't just mean a little bit of sadness. I mean, if you're really feeling like you're depressed, like if you're having an inability to experience pleasure, if you're having a change in your eating, okay, like you're either eating a lot or you're just kind of feeling anorexic, not like anorexia nervosa, the disease, but you're just not hungry. If there's a big change, if your sleep pattern is changing with your sadness, like if you're up all night, you can't get to sleep, or if you have hypersomnolence where you're sleeping all day. If you are witnessing someone who you think is having those symptoms as well, just make sure you reach out for help. Okay, reach out for help, consult with your doctor, consult with your mental health provider, because if you are indeed having depression, there's no shame to it. Okay, just like there's no shame to high blood pressure, cancer, diabetes. These are illnesses. Depression is a mental illness as well. No shame. So make sure you take care of yourself going into the new year, and don't be, pressured by everyone who was like, "Yay, new year!" They can be bubbly. I'm bubbly. Most of the time, that doesn't matter. If you know that you're feeling a sadness and it's affecting you, just reach out, okay, and get help. So, yes, reportedly, P. Diddy has been sad while he's incarcerated. All right, Diddy. All right. So let's see. Do we get a few comments and maybe a couple of live Q&As? Just remember that, for the New Year's, and like, I don't even just call this New Year's. I give you healthy, happy topics all year. So just make sure you download that PDF that we have, 10 healthy habits for a better you and a better life, and go on to my Instagram at Dr. Frita and check out where I posted this morning my Good Day Atlanta appearance. And last week I posted where on Christmas Day, I was on the national news show, News Nation, with Nick Smith, and we were talking about the bird flu. So make sure you check that out as well, and whether or not I think the bird flu will become a pandemic. It is serious, and you just need to stay informed, because we know that we have had human cases now, serious enough to be hospitalized. At this point, we don't have any known human to human transmission, but it starts with one. So just make sure you're up to date and you're paying attention. In California, there's been a state of emergency about it. Also, please let one of your New Year's resolutions be having a good blood pressure. And one great way to have a good blood pressure is to read my book, Under Pressure, A Guide to Controlling Blood Pressure. I talk not only about medicine. So of course, I do traditional medicine. I know all the pills, all the things to give you, but I also talk about natural ways, okay? Ways to lower your blood pressure naturally, with meditation, slow, deep breathing, exercise. And check out my videos on here after you finish this live on the 10 best exercises to lower blood pressure. Also 9 power vegetables to lower blood pressure. Just go Dr. Frita blood pressure and you'll see so many videos. And I am a board certified kidney doctor and high blood pressure doctor. So check that out as well. And if you want to have more conversations with me, just one-on-one, then make sure that you click the link in my description, because you can do a telehealth concierge service where I get your history from you, and we have a full session of just you and me. HIPAA's in effect. It's not everybody else, not even the members, just you and me. And we talk about your health problems, and I give you information. Okay, so just one more piece. I'm almost scared to try to play this clip.
Yeah, I say don't play it.
Okay, we'll leave it be. Some obesity rates are finally starting to go down. So we're at the lowest rate since 2013. And I want you all, if you could slip in the chat, why do you think that is so? Why do you think that our obesity rates are going down? Did people all of a sudden just develop willpower? Or do you think it's related to some of these weight loss shots? What do you think is going on? The obesity rates are finally coming down. All right. So we'll see who puts those comments in. But before we close, we'll prioritize members. Members, if you have any questions or comments, put those in. Certainly, if we have any super chats or stickers, we'll make sure we get your questions in. And we'll get a couple comments and then we'll slide out. For those of you who want to join us for our full live Q&A, our members only Q&A, instead of me talking about hot health topics, I spend the entire session just answering your questions. You can write the questions down or we can drop a link and you come in. So that's for the members. We'll be announcing we do it every month, the live Q&As. But again, you can click the link in the description and you can give us a join, please. And thank you to all of my members who are here today and who participated. All right, what do we have, Shador? Any questions at all or comments?
Yes, I do have one question that came through. This is from Ms. VE.
Hi, Ms. VE.
Can a high level of cortisol cause me to gain weight?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we all need cortisol. Okay. It's just one of the stress hormones, just like cortisol, adrenaline, the fight or flight. If you see a bear, you need to know if you're going to be strong enough to sit there and fight it, or if you need to run, if you need to take flight. Okay. But what cortisol also does is it can cause a tightening in your blood vessels, which can lead to high blood pressure. High cortisol levels can also cause you to retain water, and it can cause you to gain weight. It can cause you to gain fat weight in specific places, really. In the face, it can give you what they call a moon face or moon faces. It can cause you to gain weight in your upper back and get what they call a buffalo hump, which really sounds very politically incorrect. This is what was in my medical books. So a lot of weight in your upper back. It can cause you can have increased amounts of weight in your stomach. So a lot of belly fat or abdominal adiposity. It can also cause you to have easy bruising, stretch marks. So yeah, and it can also cause you to have an issue with your immune system. And so there are different reasons for having high cortisol. There's something called Cushing's syndrome. Okay. And that's where your adrenal glands are just literally making more cortisol than the body needs. And they're causing you to have issues, including weight gain. So if you're suspicious, consult with your doctor. There are specific tests that can be done to check your cortisol level. And if it's sufficient, or if you have a hyper or high production of cortisol.
All right. Thank you, VE, for your question. Have Sister Joy, Dr. Frita.
Hi, Sister Joy.
St. Lucie, Florida. She says, thank you for your info. I started watching you when my son got kidney disease.
Oh, well, thank you for your support. You're very welcome for my info. You know, I'm from Florida. I grew up in St. Petersburg, went to St. Pete High. So it's good to see you, my fellow Floridian. And I hope that you share this information and that your son takes it to heart. And I really pray that he does well. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Frita. And then checking in from, this is, I think, South America, Zulu.
Hi,
from
Lulu.
Maribor, Suriname.
All right, from South America. Thank you and welcome. Thank you for joining us.
All right. And then just a special shout out to Sharonda. She says, hi, guys.
Hey, Sharonda. How you doing?
Oh, a new member, Miss Joyce. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining, Miss Joyce. Miss Joyce, I can't wait to talk to you when we do our members only Q&A. And again, make sure you go check out some of the members only videos that I've done in the past and check out my New Year, same old me video. And I hope that, I know it sounds dry, but I hope it actually encourages you to have a good, healthy, happy new year. And don't forget the videos I referenced here to check out me on Good Day Atlanta. I posted that one today where I go through my tips for a healthy, happy new year. I also posted just this past week, me on News Nation, the national news show, talking about the bird flu. Oh, and very importantly, I have a short form content that's on my Instagram. It's also on Facebook and it will be on YouTube, where I break down what you really need to know about alcohol's link to cancer. I know that's very worrisome to a lot of people, but I give you the facts, okay? No fluff, just the facts on the data behind how alcohol consumption is linked to cancer. So I do want you to have honest conversations with yourself and with your healthcare providers on what's the best and realistic strategy for you when it comes to alcohol, okay? It's pretty much the real deal. It is. All right. All right, before y'all slide out of the room, make sure you go ahead and give us a like, give us a thumbs up. And yeah, thank you, Shador, as always. Let's get off to a good 2025. And we will see you on next Monday for Medical Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time, where we talk about all of the hot health topics in the headlines.